Chapter 1. Arrival. The morning buzz at the New Geneva spaceport was louder than usual, electrified by the imminent arrival of the alien delegation from the distant Selam galaxy. Dr. Alex Reed, head of the Earth Xenobiology Institute, checked his watch and then scanned the crowd. He was to meet Commander Jack Hargrove, his old academy friend and now a high-ranking official in the Earth Defense Corps. Jack found Alex first, clapping him on the shoulder. "Nervous, Alex?" "Excited," Alex corrected, smiling. "It's not every day we get to show Earth off to extraterrestrial visitors." They made their way to the designated arrival dock. Above them, the transparent dome of the spaceport offered a clear view of the star-streaked cosmos and the approach of a sleek, silver spacecraft that seemed to ripple through space itself. "You think they'll be friendly?" Jack asked, his eyes fixed on the descending ship. "They traveled across the galaxy to see us." "I'd say they're at least curious," Alex replied. The spacecraft touched down silently, more a whisper than the roar Jack and Alex were used to. As the hatch opened, a ramp descended smoothly to the tarmac. Two figures appeared at the doorway, tall, slender, with shimmering blue skin that seemed to pulse with light. Jack whistled lowly. "They sure know how to make an entrance." "Let's not make them wait," Alex said, leading the way. The Earth delegation lined up, Alex and Jack at the forefront. The first alien, who introduced herself as Svanny, stepped forward with an elegant nod. Her companion, Mkel, was more reserved, his eyes scanning the surroundings with an unreadable expression. "Welcome to Earth," Alex began, extending a hand. Svanny hesitated for a moment before mimicking the gesture. Her hand was cool and smooth. "Thank you, Dr. Reed," Svanny replied, her voice musical yet resonant. "We are here to learn and observe." Mkel finally spoke. "Your world has been described as uniquely challenging. We are keen to understand how your species thrives here." Jack chuckled. "You mean how we manage to live on what you call a death world?" Mkel's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "Precisely." Alex sensed an opportunity. "Perhaps we could start by showing you some of Earth's natural wonders. We believe it's not just the dangers here, but the beauty that makes our world worth the visit." "Indeed," Svanny said, looking genuinely intrigued. "We accept your invitation." As the group moved towards the exit, Alex and Jack fell into step beside the aliens. "Just wait until you see the Amazon rainforest," Jack said enthusiastically. "It's a bit of a journey from here, but the wildlife and the ecosystem are like nowhere else. And after that, perhaps the Sahara Desert or the Arctic Circle," Alex added. "Each has its own set of challenges and adaptations." Svanny looked between them. "Your planet hosts extreme opposites in environment?" "Oh, yes," Alex replied. "Earth is full of contrasts. Life here isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving in the face of adversity." Mkel nodded slowly. "A truly educational expedition this will be." As they exited into the bright light of day, Alex couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. Earth was not a death world to be feared, but a world that demonstrated the indomitable spirit of life itself. This visit was their chance to show just that. Chapter 2. First Contact. Inside the high-security conference room at the New Geneva spaceport, Dr. Alex Reed arranged the last of the digital documents on the holotable, while Commander Jack Hargrove discussed last-minute security details with his team. "So, how much do you think they know about us?" Jack asked, his gaze still on the door. "From the brief interactions, I'd say they're cautious but incredibly observant," Alex replied, adjusting the interface to display Earth's geographic diversity. The door hissed open, and Svanny and Mkel entered, their blue skin catching the room's light. They were accompanied by their translator, a smaller, more agile-looking alien named T'Pel. "Good morning," Alex greeted, stepping forward. I hope you've rested well. Svanny nodded gracefully. Your hospitality is appreciated, Dr. Reed. We are ready to learn more about your world. Mkel added, we are particularly interested in your social structures and technologies. Alex led them to the table. Let's start with some basics about our planet and its variety of environments. Earth is rich in life forms and natural resources, which have shaped our civilizations and technological advancements. Jack chimed in, we've set up a series of presentations to cover the major aspects. Hopefully, this will give you a clearer picture of how we manage life here. As the presentations began, visuals of Earth's landscapes from volcanoes to oceans played across the screen. Alex explained, each region you see has developed its own unique ways of supporting life, despite sometimes harsh conditions. T'Pel, who had been silent, spoke up. Your species has adapted to multiple threats and environments. This adaptability is rare. Yes, Alex agreed. It's been a crucial part of our survival. Now, let's discuss some specific technologies that helped us achieve this. The next slide showed various engineering marvels, from earthquake-resistant structures to advanced water desalination projects. Jack detailed the military adaptations. Our defenses also had to evolve rapidly, especially in handling natural disasters and managing resources. Mkel looked intrigued. These adaptations are impressive. On Selam, we focus more on avoidance than adaptation. Our cities are mobile, able to relocate in response to environmental changes. That's fascinating, Alex mused. Permanent settlements like ours require different strategies. It's more about resilience and managing to flourish where we are. The meeting continued with discussions on cultural exchanges, Earth's political structures, and the global economy. Svanny was particularly interested in the cultural aspect. Your diversity is strength. It seems to fuel creativity and innovation. Jack nodded. Exactly. And despite our differences, we strive for unity. It's not always smooth, but it's always forward-moving. As the meeting drew to a close, T'Pel asked a final question. What do you hope to gain from our interaction? Alex and Jack exchanged a look before Alex answered. Understanding, primarily. Learning from each other could lead to advancements we can't yet imagine. Svanny stood, extending her hand again, now more confidently. We look forward to more exchanges. Today has been enlightening. As the aliens departed, Jack looked at Alex. Think they'll really help us advance? Alex smiled, maybe. But at the very least, we'll advance our understanding of the universe a bit more. Jack grinned back. And that's a start, right? Right, Alex affirmed, feeling optimistic about the days ahead. Chapter 3. Earth's Trials. The sun was barely rising, casting a golden hue over the sprawling Amazon rainforest. Dr. Alex Reed, Commander Jack Hargrove, and their alien guests, Svanny and Mkel, along with their translator T'Pel, stood at the edge of a viewing platform overlooking the dense canopy. Welcome to one of Earth's lungs, Alex began, his voice full of pride as he gestured toward the expanse of green below them. The Amazon is not just a forest. It's a complex ecosystem that plays a critical role in regulating the world's oxygen and carbon cycles. Mkel looked out over the canopy, his eyes wide with curiosity. The biodiversity here must be immense. It is, Jack replied. Millions of species, many of which are still undiscovered. This place teaches us about complexity and coexistence more than any other. As they walked along the platform, T'Pel recorded the sounds of the forest, the calls of distant animals, and the rustle of leaves in the wind. Your planet's natural soundscapes are very vibrant. That's one way to put it, Jack chuckled. Each sound is a thread in the web of life here. Everything is interconnected. They proceeded to a nearby research station where a biologist, Dr. Carlos Mendez, awaited them. Dr. Reed, Commander Hargrove, welcome, he greeted, shaking hands. And our distinguished guests, I'm eager to show you some of the work we're doing here. Dr. Mendez led them through several labs where scientists were studying plant and animal samples. Our research here helps us understand how species adapt to environmental changes and pressures. It's crucial for developing sustainable ways to live with nature rather than against it. Svanny, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. In Sealam, we often relocate to avoid environmental pressures. You choose to adapt and learn. It's quite admirable. Alex nodded. It's necessary. Our connection to our planet is deep-rooted. We must adapt. The group then donned protective gear for a short trek into the forest. As they walked, Dr. Mendez pointed out various plants and explained their medicinal properties. Many of our modern medicines are derived from the compounds found in these plants. Jack swiped away a mosquito and grinned at Mkel. And we haven't even gotten to the best part yet. The wildlife here can be pretty spectacular. Just then, a colorful bird flew overhead, drawing everyone's eyes. T'Pel aimed his device upwards, capturing the moment. Remarkable colors. Do they serve a purpose? Dr. Mendez nodded. Absolutely, from attracting mates to deterring predators. Every aspect of these creatures has been honed by their environment. As the trek continued, the dialogue flowed between human and alien, discussing, comparing, and learning from each other's experiences with nature and survival strategies. Returning to the platform, Alex reflected, this forest, like many parts of Earth, faces threats from human activity. But it's also a source of great knowledge and inspiration for how we can live sustainably. Mkel seemed thoughtful. Your commitment to understanding and protecting such complexity is commendable. We see now why Earth is considered unique. As the sun set over the Amazon, casting long shadows and painting the sky with streaks of orange and purple, the group stood in silent appreciation. Earth had shown its guests not just its challenges, but also its incredible beauty and the relentless drive of its inhabitants to protect it. Tomorrow we head to the Sahara, Alex announced as they started back to the research station. It's another kind of extreme environment, but equally fascinating. Jack added, and you'll see, it's a completely different world from this one, but no less important or spectacular. As they left the sounds of the Amazon behind, the anticipation of the new experiences to come filled everyone with a renewed sense of purpose and curiosity. Chapter 4. Alien Dilemma. The shimmering heat of the Sahara Desert was a stark contrast to the lush greenery of the Amazon rainforest. Dr. Alex Reed, Commander Jack Hargrove, and their alien guests, Svanny and Mkel, along with their translator T'Pel, stood on a high dune, overlooking the vast sea of sand. This is one of the harshest environments on Earth, Alex explained, shielding his eyes from the blinding sun. Temperatures here can soar during the day and plummet at night. Yet, despite these extremes, life finds a way to persist. Jack kicked at the fine sand with his boot. It's not just about survival. It's about adaptation. The creatures and plants here are highly specialized to maximize the scarce resources. Mkel, who had been relatively quiet since their arrival in the desert, finally spoke. It's fascinating. On Sealam, we might have chosen to avoid such a place entirely. T'Pel, always curious, asked, how do humans utilize such an area? It seems uninhabitable. Jack smiled and motioned for the group to follow him to a nearby site where a solar energy farm stretched across the horizon. Here's one way. The Sahara is not only a challenge, it's an opportunity. This solar farm is part of Earth's shift towards renewable energy sources. The desert's constant sunlight makes it an ideal location. As they toured the facility, Alex elaborated on the technology. These solar panels are designed to withstand the sand and heat. They convert sunlight into electricity, which is then distributed to power cities thousands of kilometers away. Svanny seemed impressed. Your ability to turn adversity into advantage is admirable. We harness energy from our planet's core, but this is ingenious. The group then visited a research station dedicated to studying desert ecology. A scientist, Dr. Liam Chen, greeted them warmly. "Welcome. Let me show you some of the life forms that call the Sahara home." Inside the station, Dr. Chen led them to a series of exhibits displaying various desert plants and small animals. Each of these species has adapted in unique ways to conserve water and shelter from the extreme heat. Mkel, examining a model of a desert beetle, noted, "Such adaptations are vital for survival in such conditions." "Yes," Dr. Chen agreed. "Studying them helps us learn more about resilience and innovation. We apply these lessons to our own practices, especially in agriculture and conservation." As they walked back outside, T'Pel paused to record the temperature on a portable device. "The variance is remarkable. From what I've observed, humans don't just survive. They thrive by embracing and utilizing their environment." Jack nodded. "Exactly. Whether it's the Amazon or the Sahara, we learn and we adapt. It's about finding balance." The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the sand and cooling the air. The group gathered to watch, appreciating the quiet beauty of the desert. Mkel looked thoughtful. "This planet, it challenges you at every turn, yet you meet each challenge with innovation. It's not just your technology, but your spirit." Svanny added, "It's clear now why Earth is considered exceptional. Your environments, as varied and severe as they are, serve as catalysts for your development." As the twilight deepened, the group made their way back to their transport vehicle. The day's discussions had opened new perspectives for both humans and aliens, highlighting Earth's unique place in the cosmos as a cradle of tenacity and ingenuity. "Tomorrow, we'll explore the Arctic Circle," Alex said as they boarded. "You'll see another extreme of Earth's diversity." Jack chuckled. "And you thought the Sahara was cool. Just wait until you feel the Arctic." The laughter shared between them as they drove off under the starlit sky was a testament to the bridges being built, not just between 2 points on Earth, but between worlds. Chapter 5: Bonds of Understanding. Wrapped in heavy coats against the biting cold, Dr. Alex Reed, Commander Jack Hargrove, and their alien guests, Svanny and Mkel, along with their translator T'Pel, stood on the icy expanses of the Arctic Circle. The stark white of the snow and ice stretched endlessly into the horizon, under the muted light of the low-hanging sun. "This is one of Earth's most extreme environments," Alex began, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air. "The Arctic is as beautiful as it is harsh, and it plays a crucial role in regulating our planet's climate." Jack pointed to a distant outline of a polar bear. "Like the Sahara, life here has adapted in incredible ways to deal with the extreme conditions." Mkel, pulling his thermal cloak tighter, observed, "It is much quieter here compared to the other environments we've visited." T'Pel, ever the recorder, adjusted his device to capture the serene landscape. "The silence adds to its stark beauty, yet it's deceiving. There's a lot happening beneath the surface, isn't there?" "Yes," Jack replied, leading the group towards a nearby research station. "Let's head inside. I think you'll find the adaptations of Arctic wildlife and the research being conducted here quite enlightening." Once inside the warm confines of the station, they were greeted by Dr. Eric Bjornsson, a climatologist. "Welcome to our little refuge from the cold," he said with a smile. "Let me show you some of the work we're doing here." Dr. Bjornsson led them through the facility, where walls were lined with screens displaying data and images from various studies. "Our main focus is on understanding how changes in Arctic temperatures affect global weather patterns. But we also study the local wildlife and how they're adapting to the changing climate. Mkel, looking at a graph showing a steep decline in ice levels, asked, "How do you cope with these changes?" "It's a challenge," Dr. Bjornsson admitted. "We try to learn as much as we can and share this knowledge globally. The goal is to find ways to mitigate the effects and adapt our behaviors." Svanny was particularly interested in the research related to polar marine life. "Your planet's oceans are as complex as they are vast. The creatures here must be incredibly resilient." Alex nodded. "They are, and studying them helps us understand resilience in a broader context. Each species gives us clues on how to better adapt our own practices." The group then gathered around a large table for a heated discussion on potential collaborative projects that could benefit from Earth's experiences and the alien technology. Jack proposed, "Imagine combining our environmental strategies with your advanced relocation technologies. There could be a way to enhance both our approaches." Mkel seemed intrigued. "That's a promising idea. Our technology could perhaps help manage your environmental changes more dynamically." As the conversations continued, bonds of understanding deepened. The discussion wasn't just about sharing knowledge. It was about finding common ground and learning from each other's strengths. As night began to fall, and the first stars appeared in the clear Arctic sky, T'Pel made a quiet observation. "Your world is full of contrasts and extremes, yet everywhere we go, there's a sense of unity and purpose." Alex smiled, looking around at his colleagues and their new friends. "Perhaps that's the real strength of Earth. Not just surviving, but finding ways to thrive together." With the aurora borealis beginning to dance across the sky in ribbons of green and blue, the group stepped outside to watch. This moment of shared wonder was a fitting end to a day of fruitful discussions. "Tomorrow we'll return to the spaceport," Alex said as they watched the lights. "I believe we have much to plan for the future." Jack added, "And plenty more to learn from each other." Under the ethereal glow of the aurora, the promise of further collaboration seemed not just possible, but inevitable. The cold was forgotten, replaced by the warmth of newfound camaraderie and the anticipation of a future where Earth and Sealam worked together for mutual benefit. Chapter 6. Intimate Discoveries. Back at the New Geneva spaceport, in the quiet comfort of Dr. Alex Reed's private quarters, he and Svanny found themselves sharing a rare moment of downtime. The soft hum of the space station's life support systems provided a gentle backdrop to their conversation. "You know, Svanny," Alex began, handing her a steaming cup of tea, "this exchange has been more enlightening than I ever imagined. Not just scientifically, but personally." Svanny accepted the tea, her fingers brushing against Alex's as she took the cup. "Indeed, Alex. I feel the same. The depth of your connection to your planet, to each other. It's very different from what we know on Sealam." Alex nodded, settling down across from her on the soft couch. "We find strength in our connections. It's what helps us face the extremes of our world." The warmth of the room and the tea seemed to thaw a layer of formality between them. Svanny's gaze met Alex's, a curious mix of alien mystery and recognizable emotion reflecting back at him. "May I ask you something personal?" Svanny ventured, setting her cup down. "Of course," Alex replied, intrigued. "On Sealam, we often suppress our personal desires for the good of the community. It's different, seeing how openly you express your feelings here. Is it always so easy for you?" Alex chuckled softly. "Easy? Hardly. But it's essential. Our emotions can be powerful. They can drive us to make changes, to connect, to understand one another better. Maybe it's not as efficient, but it's profoundly human." Svanny looked thoughtful. "I think I am beginning to understand that." The air between them shifted, charged with an unspoken understanding. Slowly, almost hesitantly, Svanny reached out her hand to gently touch Alex's. Her touch was cool and smooth, unlike a human's, yet the intention was clear. Alex looked down at their touching hands, then back up to meet her gaze. "Svanny, I." She silenced him with a small nod, her eyes exploring his with a mix of caution and curiosity. Encouraged, Alex leaned in closer, closing the gap. Their lips met in a tentative kiss, a soft press of warmth against coolness, human and alien yet somehow perfectly aligned. The kiss deepened, driven by a mutual desire to explore and understand further. Alex's hand came up to cradle Svanny's face, his fingers sliding into the silken texture of her hair. Svanny responded by wrapping her arms around him, pulling him closer, her own curiosity and desire mirroring his. As they broke apart, breathless, Svanny whispered, "So this is what it's like." Alex smiled, his heart racing with a cocktail of emotions. Excitement, apprehension, but above all, connection. It's one of the things that make us human. Sharing moments, not just knowledge. They spent the next few hours talking deeply about their worlds, their cultures, their personal hopes and fears. Each story, each shared secret, seemed to weave them closer together, not just as representatives of their species, but as individuals. As the night drew on, they remained there on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms, a blanket draped over them, the cosmos silently spinning outside their window. This moment of peace and personal connection felt like a profound discovery in itself. Tomorrow, there will be decisions to make, plans to discuss, Svanny murmured sleepily. "But tonight we have this," Alex replied, squeezing her gently. "And whatever comes, we've made this moment ours." In the quiet that followed, filled only by the soft hum of the station and the steady rhythm of two beating hearts, the complexities of the universe seemed to pause, acknowledging the simple power of a shared human moment. Chapter 7. Earth's Guardian. In the Grand Assembly Hall of the United Nations, representatives from across the globe and the delegation from Sealam gathered. The hall buzzed with anticipation, as today marked the culmination of the extensive cross-planetary exchange. Dr. Alex Reed and Svanny stood side by side, preparing to address the assembly. Commander Jack Hargrove joined them, his uniform crisp, his expression serious but optimistic. "Are we ready for this?" he whispered to both, clasping Alex's shoulder in a firm, supportive grip. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. "Ready as we'll ever be." As they took their seats, the Secretary-General of the United Nations introduced the session, emphasizing the significance of this first interstellar collaboration. "Today we stand on the brink of a new era in human history," he announced, his voice echoing through the hall. Svanny was the first to speak. She approached the podium, her blue skin shimmering subtly under the assembly hall lights. "Honorable delegates, during our time on Earth, we have witnessed a planet that thrives amidst adversity, a world that is not merely a death world but the death world. This distinction is not due to the lethality of its environments alone, but to the spirit of its people." The assembly listened, rapt, as Svanny continued. "Earth has shown us that challenges can be met with innovation and courage. Instead of succumbing to the harshness of their world, humans prosper and transform adversity into opportunity." Jack leaned over to Alex, whispering, "She really gets it, doesn't she?" Alex smiled, pride swelling in his chest. "She does." Next, it was Alex's turn. He stepped up, scanning the room filled with faces from Earth and beyond. "We've shared with our friends from Sealam our ways of life, our technologies, and our philosophies. Now, we propose a partnership that goes beyond mere exchange. We envision a joint effort to tackle the greatest challenges of our respective worlds." He outlined a plan for a combined scientific initiative focusing on environmental technology and space exploration. "Together, we can create solutions that not only benefit Earth, but also Sealam and potentially other civilizations." As the assembly digested his words, Mikkel joined the conversation via a holographic link from their ship. Earth has taught us much about survival and adaptation. We are eager to bring our own technologies into this partnership, enhancing our collective capabilities. The floor opened for questions, and delegates from various countries voiced their support and curiosity. Questions ranged from technical specifics about the initiatives to broader inquiries about cultural integration. Jack took the stage to address the security and cooperation aspects. This partnership will also strengthen our planetary defenses, sharing knowledge and strategies to protect our worlds. The session concluded with overwhelming approval. As the delegates applauded, Alex, Svanny, and Jack shared a look of accomplishment. They had done more than bridge two worlds. They had laid the groundwork for a future built on shared strengths and mutual respect. After the assembly, the trio walked out together, their conversation light but meaningful. "What will you do first when you get back to Sealam?" Alex asked Svanny, curious about her next steps. Svanny turned to him, her expression thoughtful. "Share everything. Not just the knowledge, but the spirit I've encountered here. And prepare for your visit, of course. We have much to look forward to." Jack clapped both on their backs. "Look at us, making history." As they exited the hall, the setting sun cast long shadows across the steps of the United Nations, symbolizing the dawn of a new chapter in human history. The challenges ahead were formidable, but with Earth and Sealam working together, they seemed more than manageable. They seemed like just another opportunity for growth. Chapter 8. A New Dawn. The departure of the Sealam delegation was scheduled for dawn. The new Geneva spaceport hummed with activity as scientists, diplomats, and technicians gathered to bid farewell. Among them, Dr. Alex Reed and Commander Jack Hargrove stood near the sleek alien spacecraft, their expressions a mix of accomplishment and the bittersweet emotions that came with parting ways. Svanny approached Alex and Jack, her graceful movements reflecting the calm confidence she had developed during her time on Earth. Mikkel followed closely, his reserved demeanor unchanged, though there was a subtle warmth in his tone now as he greeted them. "Your planet has left an indelible mark on us," Svanny began, her voice soft but firm. "We came seeking knowledge, and we leave with something far greater, understanding." Alex smiled, the faint morning light reflecting in his eyes. "And you've shown us perspectives we couldn't have gained on our own. This collaboration is only the beginning." Jack, ever the pragmatist, folded his arms and grinned. "You're lucky, though. You didn't get to see all the messy parts of humanity." Mikkel raised a brow, his voice dry. "From what we have seen, your imperfections are part of what makes your species unique." The group shared a laugh, easing the tension of the impending farewell. As the final preparations for the Sealam ship's departure began, Svanny turned to Alex. "There is one thing I wish to discuss before we leave. Privately." Jack gave Alex a playful nudge. "I'll handle the technical send-off. You two talk." Alex and Svanny stepped aside, finding a quiet corner of the bustling hangar. The air between them felt heavier now, charged with emotions they had not fully addressed. "I wanted to thank you, Alex," Svanny said, her voice tinged with sincerity. "Not just for your guidance and knowledge, but for showing me a part of your world that goes beyond science and diplomacy." "You've done the same for me," Alex replied, his tone equally serious. "Your presence has been illuminating." Svanny tilted her head slightly, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Illuminating? Is that how humans describe what we've shared?" Alex chuckled nervously, scratching the back of his neck. "All right, maybe that's a bit clinical. What I mean is, this connection we've built, it's rare." Her smile softened, and she reached out to touch his hand. "It is. And while I cannot predict where it will lead, I know it will not end here." They stood in silence for a moment, the noise of the spaceport fading into the background. Finally, Alex spoke. "When will we see each other again?" "Sooner than you think," Svanny assured him. "There's too much to explore, too much to learn together. I will ensure the channels between our worlds remain open." The announcement of the ship's imminent departure interrupted them. Svanny sighed and stepped back. "I must go." "But this is not goodbye, Alex." "No, it's not," he agreed, watching as she turned and walked back toward the ship. For a moment, he felt an ache he hadn't expected, but it was tempered by the knowledge that their paths would cross again. Jack rejoined Alex as the engines of the Sealam ship began to hum. "Well, they seem pretty eager to get back to their galaxy. Think they'll miss us?" Alex smirked. "I think they'll carry a piece of Earth with them, just as they've left something of themselves here." As the Sealam ship lifted off, its silvery form gleaming in the dawn light, the gathered crowd erupted into applause. It wasn't just the end of a visit, it was the start of something far greater, a partnership that promised to redefine the future. Jack clapped Alex on the back. "Come on, let's get some breakfast. You've got a whole planet to help prepare for the next phase of this collaboration." "Breakfast sounds good," Alex replied, though his mind lingered on the moments he had shared with Svanny. As they walked away, the rising sun bathed the spaceport in a golden glow, illuminating a world poised for new discoveries. Though the sky above now seemed emptier without the Sealam ship, it was filled with possibilities. The bond forged during their visit promised to bridge the vast distances between their worlds, uniting them in a shared journey into the unknown. For Alex, Jack, and the people of Earth, it was not just a farewell. It was the dawn of a new chapter, one filled with challenges, discoveries, and the promise of what lay beyond.